Hello Wargamers, I'm Invasive Ramnus, and today is a very exciting day. Why, you ask? Well, it's because the new Eldar Codex came out. Of course, right? And that's probably what you're searching YouTube for, because you want to know what's inside that codex. You want to know what's awesome about that codex. You want to know what's not so awesome about that codex, maybe, and what you should do and how you should approach it. So, I can't give you any definitive answers, but I'm going to certainly give you my opinions. So stay tuned. If you like what I have to say, if you like my videos, please like them, comment, and of course, please subscribe. It helps out a lot. Alright, so here's the codex. Hardcover, of course, looks great, has lots of nice features in it, and I'll get to those in a second. But it also comes with the option of picking up these awesome Psyker cards, which of course have come out with every Psychic army previously, and the 6th edition basic rulebook. So these are really great. I'm a big fan of those. Simply because it helps you remember everything, instead of having to write anything down or, just try to remember it, you can just pick up a card, lay it down, that's that. So, makes things easy, definitely worth the $7 in my opinion to pick these up. Alright, on to the thing that you're actually interested about, the codex. So, just like all the previous codices, this has a lot of great artwork, a lot of great fluff in it. A lot of new artwork like this here. That's obviously new because it has the new flyers in it and everything like that. But it also includes some of the older artwork as well. Goes through kind of the history and the fluff of the Eldar, things like that. Yeah. But onto the rules, actually. So Eldar got some interesting special rules. Ancient Doom gives them hatred against Slaanesh or Marcus Slaanesh models. It also gives them a -1 penalty to leadership when they're in combat with models that are Slaaneshi. So that's kind of interesting. Not sure how much that's actually going to come into play, but who knows. Battle focus allows them to run and shoot, or shoot and run, which is pretty sweet. That a big issue with Eldar is the limited range that they have. They're supposed to be mobile, but they also have very limited range, and so allowing them to shoot and run in a single phase is actually it's a pretty big step up. It's probably not going to change the way that the game turns out, but it will probably give Eldar a little bit of a boost that they need to actually be effective. They are able to basically increase their range by 30% or something like that, just by being able to run and shoot. The Warlord traits as a whole, some of them are okay, some of them are better than others, obviously, and the two that I think are probably going to be most desirable are 3 and 4, which are Falcon's Swiftness and Fate's Messenger. Basically what they do, for Falcon's Swiftness, it allows you to add 1 to the dice roll when determining how far they run, so that works out well with battle focus. And then the other one, Fate's Messenger, allows the Warlord to reroll all saving throw results of 1. So you could see that being really effective at prolonging the life of a Phoenix Lord, because not all the Phoenix Lords come with a prescribed Warlord trait, or really any model, but especially 2-up save models, right? Because then if you don't make the 2, you obviously have a 1, and then you reroll that. So that's going to be really important, especially if they're not encountering AP2 weaponry, right? So the Warlord trait's pretty cool. Moving on to the actual list itself, we'll start off with all the HQ choices. So as a whole, not a whole lot changed, and at the same time, a lot of things changed. Eldrad, so he got a slight point reduction. I think he used to be 210, now he's 205. Runes of Warding, Runes of Witnessing, which, of course, Eldrad and all the other Farseers had access to, got changed in major ways. Largely, they're one-use only type things, and they don't do at all what they used to do. They're really just, slight utility things that you might want to use every so often, but they're not requisite things. Eldrad has them, but you wouldn't necessarily need to take them on a Farseer. As a whole, does a lot of the same stuff. One of the cool features of Eldred, though, is his staff, which is AP3 in close combat, but it now allows him to regain a warp charge at the end of each successful cast by rolling a 5 or 6. So that can be really important if you're trying to cast more psychic abilities, right? So that's pretty cool. Prince Uriel, poor guy, he has to re-roll successful saves of 6s because he's cursed. Uriel's very emo, and he can't be happy. So if he rolls a 6 to pass his save, he has to re-roll it. Illic Nightspear, he's a new special character, pretty interesting. He allows your rangers to be upgraded to Aleatuk Pathfinders. Basically, same as Pathfinders used to be, same as Pathfinders used to be because they're still 25 points, which is a lot of points to pay for a sniper rifle, especially when you consider alternatives like Kroot. But one of the cool things that Illic Nightspear has is, among his many special rules, is the Sharp Shot special rule, which he shares with the upgraded Pathfinders. And that basically means all of his shots are precision shots. So that's important. And that combined with the Shrouded that Pathfinders have can make Pathfinders and Illic worth it. But I'm not sure if you're going to see a whole lot of him or not. It is a very cool model, though. As far as the Phoenix Lords go, they're for the most part pretty specialized. I think probably the ones that you might see again you're probably most likely going to see Fugian as the most common Phoenix Lord. The Avatar, still a pretty awesome unit. One of the neat things is that he is made out of fire, right? That's kind of his whole shtick. And so flamers, melta guns are not effective against him, which is pretty sweet. Yeah. And with the changes that they made to Fleet using the Army Special rules, he can be a lot more viable to get into close combat, although you still have to get there, right? You can't run and charge. So, it's going to be a turn 2 thing at the earliest, of course. But, yeah. Anyway, Avatar Arcane, pretty cool. Autarchs, they're about the same as they used to be, I think, in a lot of ways. Farseers are probably going to still be the mainstay HQ choice. They have a lot of the same options that they used to have, but like I said, Runes of Warning, Runes of Witnessing, not quite the same anymore, and not something that I'd necessarily say would be required for you to take. Farseers differ from Spirit Seers and Warlocks in that they take the Runes of Fate psychic powers. Bam. They use the Runes of Fate special powers, whereas the Spirit Seer and Warlocks use Runes of Battle. So they're kind of two different groups of psychic powers. Spirit Seer, he basically can mark a unit that then all Wraith units reroll fail to hit wounds or fail to hit rolls of 1. So that can be really beneficial. And he also makes all Wraith units troop, rather Wraith Blades and Wraith Guard. Not all Wraith units, of course. That'd be silly. But Wraith Guard and Wraith Blades are now troops if you have a Spirit Seer. So Warlock, Farseer, Spirit Seer, Warlock's probably going to be the most common HQ choices. And then Warlocks, this is really the only way that you can get Warlocks now is through the Warlock Council. And they can cast all these kind of augmentation abilities through the Runes of Battle, just like the Spirit Seer. Moving on to troops, Dire Avengers, pretty cool. All the Shuriken weapons now have this thing where they become, basically it's rending, except for it doesn't have a benefit for firing at tanks. So it's rending for infantry, basically. So Dire Avengers, Guardians, Storm Guardians, any type of Shuriken weapon has this Blade Storm special rule, which is pretty effective. I think probably still what you'll end up seeing for troops is more Wind Rider jet bike squadrons, because they want to make it hard to say. But basically Eldar jet bikes, you'll see a lot of those still. Rangers you might see a little bit, but it's probably mostly going to be jet bikes along with some Dire Avenger squads. The Wave Serpent got better in some ways, whereas a lot of people were hoping for a points reduction. It's still super expensive, but it does have this Serpent Shield, which allows it to basically not get blown up. You have to take it out via hull points most of the time. So, if you compare that to something like a Devilfish, which is 85 points, and you can take similar upgrades, like Eldar can take a upgrade that allows them to have +1 cover save, so can Devilfish with the Disruption Pod. Paying the extra points for this ability to not just get blown up, yeah, that might be worth it. And also, Wave Serpents are still fast, so I don't know. I think Wave Serpents are still going to be something that you'll want to take in order to get your troops from point A to point B. Yeah, they're a little overcosted. Well, not necessarily overcosted, but they're still expensive. And that's a theme throughout the entire book, right? Is that everything's still expensive. And that's why I say that it's probably going to be most effective when there's more Marine armies out as opposed to more Xenos armies. All right. Elites, they're still, well, the only new thing is the Wraith Blades, right? So close combat Wraith Guard. But yeah, Howling Banshee, Striking Scorpion, Fire Dragons, Harlequins. I think out of all these options, you could see some Wraith units, but Fire Dragons are probably still going to be the preeminent elite choice of Eldar players, largely for their anti-tank capabilities. I think Striking Scorpions are probably going to be important once there's more Marines on the table too. They now have stealth, which is awesome. You can imagine putting them in a Wave Serpent, getting them across the board, taking advantage of a cover save. With stealth, they're probably going to be a little bit harder to kill right away, and then you can charge and actually do something with them. And you can do probably a similar thing with Howling Banshees, which reduce the initiative of their target by 5 when charging. So that's pretty cool. Fast attack. Swooping Hawks, their grenade packs are still pretty neat, but probably not. They probably didn't get the treatment that they needed in order to be real dominant on the tabletop. Warp Spiders, they're still probably going to be something that you see a lot of with regards to fast attack options. Shining Spheres, probably not. The Flyers, so the Crimson Hunter and then the Bomber, that's later on in the Codex. As a whole, I think that they are probably a little overcosted and a little vulnerable. So you might see them just because people want to take Flyers, but as a whole, I don't think they're really a forte of this Codex. Vipers, I could actually see them being more common than they were before, especially if you're going for a jet bike, high mobility themed army. Vipers could be really important. They're 50 points, and then you can upgrade for your Starcan, Bright Lance, Scatter Laser, Eldar Missile Launcher for relatively cheap, 5 to 15 points, depending on the option. Unfortunately, the Missile Launcher doesn't have the Skyfire option. The Missile Launcher has 3 different firing types. Most units can only take 2 of them. Of course, the third that they can't take is the Skyfire option, which only a few models can take, like the Dark Reaper Exarch can take that. It'd be really great if Vipers could, but they can't. So I think you'll still probably see them with, if you see them, they'll probably be with Scatter Lasers or Bright Lances. Again, Bright Lances probably aren't the best right now just because there's not a lot of vehicles on the board, but if you play in a place where there are a lot of vehicles on the board, or as the kind of meta changes, you'll see more Bright Lances. Okay, so for half the price of a Wraith Knight, you can get a Wraith Lord, which has half the wounds but mostly the same stats, and you divide your enemy shooting into 2 targets instead of just 1. That said, it has weaker weaponry and things like that, but there's still a place for Wraith Lords. They're kind of a more a more economical way of doing it. If you're on a budget, do a Wraith Lord instead of a Wraith Knight, because the Wraith Knight is 240 points plus all the awesome things you want to put on the Wraith Knight. So the heavy Wraith Cannons are pretty cool, as strength 10 AP2 weapons, but the Sun Cannon, which is a heavy 3 basically anti-Terminator weapon blast, is just going to wreck face again once the Space Marines come back and are more prevalent. Strength 6 AP2 heavy 3 blast, that thing's going to just wreck face. So yeah, the big downside is that it has 3-up save, which is really easily countered with the current models that are out there, and that really pushes you towards taking a scatter shield in order to give you an invulnerable save. But still, you can see it, but depending on the luck of the draw, what you get as an opponent, it can either just be a complete bulldozer unit, or it could still be pretty tough, but not as tough as you would really want it to be for that cost. So I don't know, it's a really cool model, very expensive for the wallet, but that's a hobby, so it's not really a point worth raising. The Wraith Lord's equally cool model though, so I think you'll see a mixture of these guys on the battlefield, and then maybe some Fire Prisms. So as a whole, I think I would take some Farseers, a couple units of Dire Avengers, a couple units of Jet Bikes, and then maybe throw in some, like either a Wraith Knight or a couple Wraith Lords, and maybe Striking Scorpions or Fire Dragons. That's kind of the list that I would be thinking about. Anyway, very cool codex. Again, it has this great reference section, which unfortunately, when you close this book, this will get bent right here, and it's going to drive you, and by you I mean me, crazy. So again, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And of course, please subscribe. Thanks.